这本书我不知道有人在看吗？哦，没有了，真的没人看也要录影。
现在对，
惨，那外国人在看，
因为死去的关系，所以他们
时区不同，可是你不知道他们在看。像他们写 reflection， 他们来写。好，对啊，record。怎么
有在录，但是这个 PPT 好像到处。OK， it's like this。
所以你现在是延伸，是不是？
对，我跟他按，可是他就是，
所以不能镜像。
他不给我。
好奇怪。
我都一直切到颜色。
没关系，OK 的。不是这一页。没有，我刚刚已经弄好我那一页，就又跳掉了。然后一个。Okay, people, we are going to have the second session for VR today, and we're going to talk about VR games. And the third paper is about swapping body, and I believe that we covered that last week, right? The changing your body into the animal and a cow and a coral. If you read the paper today, this week, you'll get to know that. I'm wondering how many of you have read the papers, the assigned papers? Cool. Okay, so today we're going to have relaxed and fun class, and to let you know that during lunch, one of my eye was scratched by my contact lenses. It hurt so much, so I took it off. So right now I only have one eye with contact lenses. I had really bad eyesight. I was like 920 degrees for nearsightedness. So right now when I looked at you, like half of me is clear and half of me is like blind. So hopefully we can end the class earlier so I can go home and get back to my normal glasses. I should bring my glasses, but I didn't. So today I'm like a little bit weird today. So pardon me if that would influence my listening. I don't think so. I probably will understand what you're talking about, but my eyesight right now is very imbalanced. So, okay, so Ari, welcome back to the class. And also Huang Chen, we missed you last week. What happened?
Well, I fell asleep.
You fell asleep? And you slept for a whole day?
Yeah.
What happened? Are you playing games or what?
No, it's a good weather to sleep.
The weather is good for you to sleep, and then you just it's like, okay, I'll ask Chen Chen to call you every week to make sure that you don't fall asleep or something. Very, very cool reason and direct. Very good. Okay, so before the class, how many of you love playing horror video games? Just like love it and are not afraid of it. It's like, only you two, you and Ari, only you two are not afraid of it and would love to play horror video game or watch horror movie. So you're not afraid of it and you love it.
Yes.
Do you know why is that? Have you analyzed or thought about why you're not afraid of it?
Most of like.
Oh.
Keep being scared.
Oh, it's like
You're excited.
you feel being scared as a challenge. It's like, when will I get frightened and how does it present and will I get frightened or not? So I guess you too will feel those jump scares as a part of the challenge, right? So do you think about the logic of the movie or the games when you play those, or you're waiting for the jump scares?
Kind of like.
You also enjoy being scared, huh?
Yeah.
So
it's like the sense of suspicion that makes me feel excited.
Oh, okay, the suspense makes you feel like, oh, challenge accepted, and you feel like if it's more suspenseful, you're more excited and more enjoyable afterwards. But you're not scared at all, or you also feel a little bit scared.
I mean, I'm scared.
Oh, okay, but you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I feel
Huh.
content.
Interesting. Okay, so have you thought about why was that?
I think it's personal differences. Like
Personal differences?
sometimes I think females are more like being scared. Like they're afraid of being scared.
Yeah, but you just raised her hand.
She's different.
She's an outlier of all the girls.
She's a game designer.
Game design. Okay, so you thought about different people would have different tendencies when they face all the scary content and horror content. So you said you've read the readings for this week. Is there any reading or the theory that you think that might explain your enjoyable experience? I'll let you think about it because I have other questions to ask. Actually, I'm just wondering how many of you would love watching horror movies or play horror video games, and you're not afraid of it at all? No. Okay, how many of you are so afraid of those kind of horror content, so you avoid watching it or playing such games at all? Yeah, like especially ghost stories, like paranormal stories. Those things will make you not normal for a while. Like couldn't sleep very well. Look at your closet and feel like somebody's coming out from the closet or somebody's under your bed. So okay, so you avoid that. How many of you are afraid of it and love, and you don't want to watch it, but you just want to watch it again? How many of you are like that? It's like you're afraid of the horror content, but you just love watching it or playing it.
Love is a strong word.
Okay,
like yes.
Yeah, so you are those kind
Which
of
we
person.
kind of just talked about earlier.
Yeah,
it's like if somebody has already played through the game already and I've already I know what's coming, totally fine. If I'm going in blind, that's when it's a little
challenging for you.
I mean, everyone has seen it's rough for me. So that's. But ultimately, like what I said, it comes down to story. I'm really attracted to the story when it comes to horror stories. And that's I think why I play horror games ultimately.
Yeah, because why was that? The story was, but there are other stories like love stories or but why horror stories?
It's something different. I don't play them consistently.
Yeah.
I think it's when I've already played through kind of my usual genre of games. I'm I kind of want something different.
Oh, okay.
It's a little spice to the mix.
Oh, spice. So it's more stronger. It's stronger than the other genre.
Right.
And it kind of boosts your arousal.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, because your arousal is pretty high when you play those horror games, right? Can you analyze what time? Not what time. I mean, what kind of what type of is it during the break or is it during holiday or during the normal working or study days?
Usually it's during breaks.
During breaks, right?
I have nothing.
Nothing to do. So you've decided to play horror games. Have you tried? Have you ever played any horror games before midterms? Or during pressurable, if you have a paper to write and then you are still playing that. Have you ever thought?
I've never tried that.
Yeah, don't do it. I'm just curious. But Maddox, have you tried it? No.
I like listening to murder podcast, true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
So I do that a lot when I'm stressed out.
Oh, cool.
But
you listen to the podcast, but not
playing
playing the game because they're different.
Yeah.
They're different. So there are different things that we can talk. Have you had any thoughts to share with us?
I read this paper and I there is mentioned that these VR horror games can use for can be useful for future training. And I agree with this because I think I play horror games and I don't afraid.
You're not afraid of.
I don't afraid of because also by training. Because in the past I really afraid of this kind of games, but my friends always ask me to play together, and they think that I'm good at playing games, so they always let me go first.
Oh,
So I
okay.
need to lead the team, and as time goes by, I feel that it's not so
Not so horrible
Yeah.
because you're actually concentrating on the game mechanics.
Yeah, and when
And
I
you
have
got-
more experience,
Uh-huh.
I think it's not so-
Brave, you're more brave.
Yeah, so I think it can be practiced.
You're probably desensitized.
That's what I was thinking.
But sometimes I still be scared by jump scares.
Yeah, it's like if somebody just suddenly appear on the
Yeah.
screen, or if you are in the VR, it's totally different. How many of you have played the zombie games? Oh yeah, some of you. Okay, so today the paper that we talked about is using the exact zombie games. So I hope you have that kind of remember. You can still remember what we go through. So this is Arizona Sunshine. So I remember when I played it and the zombie just Huangchen, I remember you played this. Yeah, and you can go to other places and the zombies are coming toward you, so that's why we ended that game, right? Okay, so this is me playing the zombie game. I said I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to play anymore. Oh, my friend said very low. So did you see that I was like stepping back? Yeah. So that was my reaction. It was too close. Zombies that stay there and they're attacking me. It's 2016 when VR and the game was just out. So even I play that much, I still like scream a little bit. Yeah, so it was during when I first, 3 or 4 times when I played this game. So, and I got scared, I screamed, but I loved it. So I was that kind of person that why would I still feel enjoyable? So today we're going to talk about this paradoxical situation. So first we're going to talk about okay, now we are talking about horror video games in VR, in virtual reality. So what kind of elements make you like fear, and how do you cope with that? Especially it's a mediated threats. They're not real, but how do you cope with that? Like me, I was like screaming, and then I physically stepping back, and I was trying to kill them and all things. But the only boy in our team at that time, he's like no screaming at all. He's like, constantly monitoring, and then he would even step forward to kill the zombie. And so as opposed to him, I was like stepping back and back. So you see, we have different kind of coping mechanisms. So this is the first issue that we're going to address, and the second one we're going to address this: why are we so scared but still enjoy horror content? It's a paradoxical condition right now. When you're scared, it's a negative emotion, but you feel like you enjoyed it. Just like Ari said, he enjoys that kind of suspenseful atmosphere, and when he got scared or he actually is excited about it. And he's like, he enjoyed being scared and he loved it. So it's a positive appraisal after that you play that. You were scared. It's a negative feeling at the time, but after that you have to, after you've done the appraisal, you feel like it's an enjoyable experience. So today we're going to talk about this too. Okay, so the first one, what are the elements? You know, when I look at the literature, there are so few studies talking about this. There's one seminal study by Lynch and who? Lynch and from the second paper, Lynch and someone. No. We're talking about the fear elements. I cited them a lot. Lynch and
Martins.
yeah, thank you. Lynch and Martins. They're from Ohio State, I think. So they did a survey asking all the college students and asked you to think about what are the scary or fearful video games that you have played before and list those. And they found out that they listed most of them make them frightened are those horror video games. And so they asked them what kind of personality you are. For example, if you're high sensation seeking, then you would love playing this game. You guys know what is sensation seeking? If we talk about personality, what is sensation seeking?
Someone just want to play some very
Dangerous.
Fierce or dangerous.
Dangerous or
game.
challenging.
Yeah, because he maybe like extremely activity in
Mhm.
real life.
Like bungee jumping or when you take the airplane to the high.
Skydiving.
That's skydiving. I did that once. Oh my goodness. Why did I do that? You know, the most fearful thing is not skydiving. Is the thing that they ask you to sign all the statement that if you die, they're not responsible for it. And the country is not responsible. And you feel like you're sorry for your parents and then you sign those things and then you join the skydiving. Actually, when you take the airplane, that's the most beautiful moments because you can see the whole island from top above. But when you're taking the airplane, when it's going higher and higher, your suspense getting higher. So you're like, oh my goodness. And when you're at the edge of the airplane, when you're going forward to make that jump, usually the coach will be with you. So the coach is, on your back. You jump together, but it's like they pushed you and then you're like free falling for a minute, and then the I don't know, the balloon was out. Yeah, the parachute was out, and then you were like doing things. So it's similar. It's similar to horror video games or horror movies. You know, you enjoy or you're tortured by that suspenseful accumulated and you're on the edge of your seat. Usually not that extreme for me for horror movies or games, but if you have experienced skydiving, then you know what I'm talking about. It's totally different. Okay, so seeking means that if you have that kind of personality, you love to seek all those activities that fill with sensation. So in Lynch and Martins, they talked about if you are high in sensation seeking and if you have lots of horror game playing experience or first-person shooter experience, you loved playing video games, and it predicted that you're not that afraid of horror content in video games. So they only did this survey, and all the respondents can only recall their experiences and rated what kind of elements make them feel afraid. For example, they are afraid of the environment, the sound, the environment being darkness, and they are afraid of like being attacked. So these are elements, and nobody has done, empirical evidence. I mean, empirical studies. For example, invite you to the lab and play a game, and then ask you rate all the elements. So that's why our team. In my research team, we did this. Maddox, did you send me an email? I'm sorry.
I did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I will will respond to your email later.
thank you.
Please
Yeah.
remember to talk to me. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
I was
that's
talking about my research team, and then I thought about your
Yeah.
email. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry about the interruption, and sorry about the online audience. If there's anyone right now, usually there's no one there. But we need to record the session. Yeah. Okay, so we did this study, and then we invite all the people, college students, to come to our lab, and they play that game called Brookhaven Experiment. And they play for 4 minutes, and then lots of them quit. They're like, I couldn't. They just put it on for 3 seconds, and I gave up. So even college students gave up on the horror video. I mean, that atmosphere, because it's in virtual reality, it's different. When you play horror video games in your computer, you have distance, right? You're watching your character or watching your hands or gun, so it's different. But when you're inside virtual reality, have you any thoughts about what it feels like when you're killing zombies in virtual reality? Any differences between virtual reality horror games and the laptop horror games? Yeah, Ari? Raise your hand. Yeah, okay, yeah. Only one contact lens. Oh no, that's ear. Oh, see, there's a distance. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I need to do this. Yeah, I was doing this, and then I know I otherwise I thought it's already racing. Oh my goodness. Okay, Yu.
I think it can be explained by identification.
Oh.
Because when I play zombie shooting games on computer, I see that character and I see we are different person. I can see her head, hands, and
Yeah.
But
Still
VR,
distant.
in VR games, I think I am the character.
VR games. Or that one being
Yeah.
attacked by
So
the
I
zombie.
think that identification is different. I think in the VR game, if when I am attacked, I think it's me
being attacked.
being attacked.
Yeah, rather as opposed to watching some
Yeah.
character on the screen. You know that's still played by you, but there's a total difference, right? Cool, thank you, Yu. Grace?
I feel like Nick Bowman's like presentation on immersion and presence.
Yeah.
I feel like because you're like you are you. It's not someone you're. It's kind of the same thing that you're controlling somebody doing all of these things, and then when it's you who's actually like you are the person who has to walk. You literally have to move your body in order to like progress. Whereas like you can just like just keep going.
Yeah. Because you're like facing all the threats directly to you, so that's totally different. So you can say, presence, place illusion that we talked about last week, and plausibility illusion. For example, all the zombies are toward you, so the distance are different, right? And also, if you have a body, the embodiment, you can see, oh, I got hit, and if you can see that your body has a scratch on it, then it makes you feel more immersed in it. So here, I'm just curious and ask all the respondents after you play that video, the horror game Brookhaven Experiment in VR, I asked them to write down what are the elements that make you fear most, and in open-ended questions, and then we presented a close-ended questions to them. Do you guys know what is difference between open-ended and close-ended questions? It means that in the questionnaire, open-ended questions, it means what are the most fearful elements that you've encountered in VR games? And there's a blank. You need to fill it out by yourself. That's open-ended. It means that there's not any responses, options for you to choose from. You just fill it out. Close-ended question means that you are not able to fill out your own thoughts. We have listed almost everything that we can think of, and then you just click it, you choose them, or you rate them. So we asked them to rate all of this, and we did a factor analysis, and we can see that actually people are afraid of these two categories of the elements. One is PI, one is PSI. Remember, PI is place illusion, PSI is plausibility illusion that we talked about last week. PI is mostly regarding presence. That you mean It means that the illusion that you are in that place, even though you know you're not in that place. PSI means that you know that there's no such zombies attacking you, but in VR, you have the illusion that you're being attacked. So let's review these two of these PI elements. There's darkness. Yes, that's the about the environment. Also, environment sounds, audio or visual growls from zombies or sound of zombie steps. Remember, in the lab, we can hear the zombie steps when they're, and you're like, where are they? Where are they? Yeah, and not knowing where the zombies will come from. These are environmental PI elements. There's also PSI elements. For example, when they cannot control their weapons, or when zombies are really close to you, and you feel like, oh, they're really there, and when they attack you and you're vulnerable, or when they attack you and the screen turn red, means that you're dying, right? And zombies approaching. So for those CUS students, do you want to guess which one make them more afraid of? Like, which one is more afraid? Oh, for you, which one is which category of elements are make you more fearful during the VR horror games? If you think about your own experience, not every one of you plays zombie games, right? Yeah,
Oh,
but
I haven't played zombie games, but I suppose if I played it, I think my fierce one would be when I cannot control my weapon.
oh, it's like PSI element. Especially you want to kill them but cannot, then you will be so like afraid or feel like I don't know what to do right now, right? Okay, cool. So for you, you imagine this PSI. For others,
I also play zombie game, and I remember one in the end of some level, the normal enemy was dead, but there will be a big boss, and you should waiting for this big boss. You should look around and wait for it. At that moment, I feel I'm very scared.
really, it's
Yeah.
like I don't know when or what form it would come out, and will I be able to defeat him, or so that's a suspenseful moment. So do you think it's PSI or PI? Maybe PSI, because it's zombies approaching, but you don't know where they're. Yeah, okay, cool. Other thoughts? Anyway, in this, Maddox?
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't have a ton of experience playing zombie games, but I played a lot of Super Hot, which I've mentioned really scares me. And I think that's because I always feel vulnerable. It's like the PSI element of like I can't use my avoidance strategy. I can't because if I move, they're gonna get me.
Yes, you're
so
right.
That constant feeling of vulnerability, so PSI would be mine.
Cool. Have you played Super Hot? I thought Chen is the only one playing.
I played it before.
Oh yeah, you played. You missed his play.
Oh,
He punched the other TA, teaching assistant. Okay, sad memory. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay, so in this study, have you checked out this? If you check out paper, which one make them more fearful? PSI. Okay, yeah. So we'll get to that results later. So do you agree with that? I think PI also makes you really afraid, but PSI is make you scream and break. Okay, so fear elements. These are open-ended feedback. If we look at that, not competent is the one that make them feel vulnerable or feel afraid because they're like, how to load my gun? Okay, zombies being very close. It's more like a VR trait. It's a unique from VR trait. And the sound also, lots of people mention it, and suddenly found out that the zombies are in the back. That's also a unique characteristics for VR because it's in your back. So you're like, oh, got frightened by that. Okay, how many of you know that there's a video game called Outlast? Yeah, is it scared? Is it scary? Very scary, right?
Or like the computer and
I think it's a good example of PSI because I think the most horrible moments in Outlast is you cannot fight with the zombies.
Oh.
You don't have any weapons. You only have a.
There are zombies in Outlast? I thought there are like delusional patients.
You cannot fight with them. You can just run. So I think it's like you cannot control your weapon because you cannot fight or kill them. You can just run.
Okay.
I think it's really, although I love playing horror games, I cannot play for a long time.
Really? Yeah, because I heard that even guys they're like so scared playing that game. Like even one of my male student, he had to hide behind the dorm of the door, and then look at his pal playing that game. They're like, ah, yeah. And in one of the casting, his finger was cut off by the doctor.
Yeah.
He's just literally looking, and his finger got dragged, and when he woke up he lost his finger or something like that. So somebody remodeled it into a VR version. I couldn't take it. I don't think I can literally see a doctor in front of me and just hurt my body. You know that I suspect that body ownership would be so effective in VR version of Outlast. If you check that out, I'm not going to show them in my class, but you're welcome to check it out for yourself. Okay, so these are the open. Did anyone? No, nobody's raising her hand. Okay, so these are the coping reactions. So see which coping reactions you have. So if we differentiate them into cognitive versus behavioral, you can have different categories. For example, there's one is called approach. For example, the male student that I referred in the beginning of class, and that he would even step forward to be closer to the zombie, so he's able to shot at the heads. And so these you can say the cognitive perspective, you actively monitor where the zombies are coming from, and the behavior, you are stepping forward and active coping. And lots of people do the other opposite way, which is avoidance. So cognitive ways, avoidance is to keep talking to myself to remind that context. So this is self-emotional support seeking. And behavioral things, people will scream and swear and yell and do all things to vent their fear, anger, maybe. So these are avoidance. There's another really interesting strategy only in VR, which is self-help. So there will be in denial, said this is not real. This is not real. Because, you know, when you're playing video game in your laptop, you're like, I know this is not real. Oh, I got scared, but you know, you still have distance between you and your screen. But when you're in VR, you really have to persuade yourself, this is not real, I'm not there, because your brain is tricked to feel like you are there, this is real. So you constantly are fighting that illusion that I'm not. So it's really hard, especially for those who are afraid of height, like Cherry. Yeah, when you are there, your brain is tricked to feel like you are there in the height, but you kept talking to yourself that I'm on the ground, but you just can't. So at that time, it's a really unique coping strategies like self-help. Is it helpful?
My feet to drawing around the floor to recognize myself that I'm still in the room.
Yeah, you really have to rely that, and you have to, you know, step on the ground to remind you to break that presence. Yeah. So the behavioral one is, some people would directly close their eyes when they have the goggles. Like I remember some of you did that, Grace. Yeah.
I don't close my eyes.
Yeah, I was like,
I was like, I'm not doing that.
please look this way. Yeah. So you were. I remember I was like moving your angle and perspective to let other people see. Yeah. So these are. So you can see Grace did the behavioral disengagement. Directly close her eyes. Did you adopt any of these or any other coping mechanisms that you can think of?
Swearing, screaming, yelling.
Yes, you did the avoidance behavioral part.
I went through the whole roller coaster of emotion.
And self-help behavioral part. Other?
I think VR did self-help denial. It did not happen in VR game, but when I have many a very bad dream, I will also say at that moment it's not real, it's just a dream.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You are in the dream and you
Yeah.
tell yourself that you tell yourself
that it's a dream because
you can realize it's a dream.
Yeah, because the scenario is not normal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you lucid dream? Is that what you're saying? Like you can control yourself in your dream?
I can control, but
he's like he's
yeah,
aware.
I
He's
can
aware
aware
that.
it's not true.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're entering these another realm of science that we don't understand. You know, I'm not expert in dreams, but cool sharing. But you can self-help when you're in dreams. but did you do that in VR? Not really.
I just close.
Oh, quit the game. Quit the game. Okay, directly. So these are the coping mechanisms. You know, as a scholar, we always do this boring theoretical framework. Okay, so here's the regression. So regression means that you put all the factors into one regression, and it would tell you if you control most of the control all the factors, what is the effect between these factor and the results, controlling for other reasons and factors. So here, if you want to look at sex difference, you can see male and female behave differently in their disengagement and behavior. So here, male is 1 and female is 0. It means that male is 1, female is 0. It means that we put them into two categories, and here it's a negative value, negative like 0.15. It means that male would like female 0, okay, will engage in 0.15 level of the disengagement behavior than male. See, because female is 0 and male is 1. So if you have a negative value, it means that male, the larger value 1 is having like smaller effects than 0. So if you take statistics, it means that 0.15, it means that how much difference between 0 and 1. And then positive or negative means that the direction, which one is larger, which one is smaller. So here, negative means that female engaged, participated and demonstrated more disengagement behavior. So like Grace, if it's Grace versus Chen, then Grace would do more disengagement behavior, like directly close her eyes, but Chen will not do that. But here, opposite way approach. So 0.17. Can you explain what that means? After I explain the, well, it's statistic course now.
It's males engage more in approach practices than females.
Yes, yeah. Again, male is 1, female is 0. So male is larger than female. So 0.17 means that there's a 0.17 level of approach behavior differences between 0 and 1, and the direction. So positive 0 to 1. So 1 have more 0.17 level of approach than female. So 1, yeah. So do you understand right now? If it's negative, then 1 will have smaller level than 0. Then if it's positive, then 1 have more level than 0, because positive means like consistent. So 0 to 1. And positive like smaller to larger. Okay, so this is the difference. So these are the difference. So for example, if it's RE and EU, although EU is an outlier by definition by RE, RE will engage in more approach behavior than EU according to the sample. And sensation seeking, you can see if you're high in sensation seeking. Okay, here, if it's a 0.24 in positive, it means that if you're high in sensation seeking, you are more willing to adopt self-help. You engage more frequencies of self-help behavior. So you will say, this is not real, this is not real, like this. And you also do the approach behavior. You would actively approach the zombies and kill them because you're not that afraid. Neuroticism is one of the characteristics, individual difference mentioned in Lynch and Martin's. They said if you're high in neuroticism, then you will be more afraid of that. Yeah. And here, there's no difference between, there's no significant association between your neuroticism and and all the behaviors. And first time VR and FPS, which is first person shooter familiarity, these are two control variables. And if you are really familiar with first person shooter, then you will also adopt the approach behavior, the coping mechanism, and you're less fear of that. See, the negative means that if this is higher, more familiar, then you're less fear. Yeah, so it can also explain by Yiyu's experience, desensitizations. If you're more familiar with FPS, you are so accustomed to this kind of challenge, then you're not afraid. And whether you like horror games, if games a lot, see here, you will not do the disengagement. You will not close. You have your eyes wide open and wait for the jump scares, and you will adopt the approach behavior more, and you're not that afraid. So you can see, hey, individual difference and your experience in the games actually can predict whether you're afraid or not. But here, see the fear of PSI or PI here. PSI predict more fear than PI. So C is 0.61 and this is 0.17. So you can see the PSI has a greater association between fear. Is a stronger predictor of fear than PI. So reckoning your thoughts earlier, and you can see that if you are afraid of PSI, like zombies close to you and then cannot control content, you also engage in disengagement behavior more. Just like, I totally love control, I'm out of bullet, I cannot control, I cannot reload. Then you're like, okay, I'll just close my eyes, and this is disengagement. So this is really interesting. Okay, so R square, yeah, I'm not going to teach statistics, but R square means that how much variance of these predictors explain fear or dependent variables. And you can see these R squares are pretty high. Okay, so let's see. And we did that study, and the next day, we also asked them to fill out a questionnaire answering really basic questions. We asked them, hey, have you thought about, have you had all these kind of feelings during yesterday or today? We asked them if you don't want to hear anything related to it. And you can see these are distribution, like 82 out of 141 people say one. One is completely disagree. 7 is completely agree. So you can see most people, they are okay. They're not like don't want to hear anything about it. But here you can see 1 plus 4, 5 people out of 141 or 43 don't want to hear anything about it. And here I was afraid to walk alone at night, and only 1 person say completely agree, and 4. But these couldn't be due to the zombie games. They probably are just don't want to walk alone at night. And third one, I was afraid that someone will attack me from behind. This is interesting. This is called Tetris effect, right? Tetris effect refers to when you play Tetris so much, you feel like all the building, you can see them into blocks, and the different patterns you want to put them together and dimension all the lines. So this is Tetris effect, means that it has these residual effects on you. For example, if you're in an orchestra playing a symphony over and over and over again, you will also have the Tetris effect. You're not in the orchestra, you're on the subway, taking the subway to home, but you feel like you're still playing that game in your mind. So that's Tetris effect. You can see like 6 and plus 2 and plus 2, almost 10 of them say yes. They're afraid of someone would attack them from behind. See, it's really interesting. VR is more powerful and has residual effect, even though you only play 4 minutes of the horror video game, and they still feel like somebody would attack them from behind after like a day after that we asked them. So you can see the effect of VR can last that long till the next day. And the fourth one, I felt that I constantly heard zombie voices. 7 say, yeah. And I felt depressed. Only 2 and 3 people say yes. And never want to play VR survival horror games ever again. It's like 8 plus 7 plus 9. Yeah, they're mad or something. I was afraid in the dark. Okay, some of them said yes. I was too scared to sleep at night. Only 1 person said that. And we asked them whether they had nightmares, and so 3 people say yes. And dreamed about the game, and 1 person didn't say yes. So I remember one of my female research assistant in our team, and she's like, she cried when she played Brookhaven experiment. She screamed so much and she cried. She said she still felt that the zombies owe her apology and apology. She's like she had nightmare as well. So it was a traumatic experience for her. But after she's done do the experiment, so she saw so many other people screaming in front of her, and she constantly see the content over and over again just through the television screen. She got desensitized, and she's like, maybe I can try it. So she asked her friend to wear the goggles, and then she control the controllers and kill the zombie. And she used that way to adapt and cope, and now she can wear it and play it. So she's like gradually from observing others, but no, she personally played it, got traumatized, so she looked at other people screaming and then asked somebody to wear the goggles. She can play it, and now she wear it and play it. So I think there's a lot of different reactions and responses during the VR, not just horror games and other games as well. So it's worthy of studies because it's really a way to do training, and it's very interesting. Okay, it's 2 o'clock already. So did the bell ring? Yeah, so the second issue we're going to talk about is the appeal of horror content. You can see here, the marketing companies are so brilliant. When they are marketing one movie in movie theaters, they will this kind of room just besides the line that you buy tickets. So you will see, and there's a screen, so you can see people's reactions in it, and to see the trailer, the VR trailer, or the experience from that movie. So like Paranormal Activities and The Conjuring and those kind of movies, they adopt these type of strategies, and people loved seeing other people got frightened and felt funny about it. Have you thought about why? Like seeing other people got frightened is such a funny thing. Why? It's like Grace, when Grace was like screaming, and like everybody is laughing so hard at that time. Why was that? Okay, that was one issue that I'm still thinking about, but it's very interesting. So next hour we're going to talk about paradoxical issue. Why you are so afraid of the content, but when do you want to play again? You raise your hand and say, yes, I want to play again. So we'll talk about related theories and the paper in the next hour. Okay, let's take a break of 10 minutes. So Maddox.
Yes. Thank you for remembering that. I don't want to.
Yeah, I do. I just have so many emails.
I know.
Yeah, so you're looking for like.
I am. Yeah, I mentioned in the email my background's in linguistics, but I'm more interested in like psychological, like the kind of stuff we're doing here.
Oh, cool.
So I was wondering if you or anyone you knew was looking for. Join. Yeah.
Well, our team is constantly doing this,
Yeah.
but when they do experiments, they always need to speak Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one challenge that I see. Yeah. So, but I think if you're interested, you can join the group, and then maybe you can help with the literature review or something like that. if you're interested, because
Oh, no, 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 no.
we're doing virtual reality experience right now, but since all the participants are Chinese and we need to speak in Chinese. And actually, there's one scholar from she's applying the postdoc position for my grant.
Okay.
If this comes through, maybe you and her can be a really good team, and then you can manage her study and you can communicate with her, and
Because
we can do something cool, and so you can support the Chinese team. Yeah. So, are you looking for this in a hurry? Like you want to do it this semester or maybe in the
I mean, I would
next
love
semester?
as long as I'm able. It can be a no.
Okay. But I'm not sure if you are American, is it allowed that you get the if you work in the team, you will have some like scholarship, not much, but scholarship. Are you eligible for that?
So I'm
Because
on
I
the-
know people from China cannot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so under normal circumstances, I would. I have the Fulbright grants for New York,
Oh,
so
okay.
technically, like I couldn't get a job here.
Oh,
But I know some people who are here, they do work in like for IMAX for their so I think
Is it
I think if
is
it's
it
related
allowed?
enough to your thing,
Oh,
I could talk to
then-
my director about it.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
he might, it might be, because some people do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because usually if people work in my team, I would think of ways to at least support a little bit. It's not much. It's just 8,000 to 10,000 a month. That's the maximum. 10,000 is the maximum for a master's degree research assistant here.
And even if my director says no, like I would still want to do it.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
like
experience.
okay, yeah.
That's okay with me.
We are going to launch a study very soon.
Okay.
You're welcome to take a look at what they're doing, but we probably won't assign you to do the experiment because there are so many people right now. It's
Really?
like
Okay.
so many assistants right now.
Yeah.
We probably won't. Yeah, but you're welcome to join what they're doing things and I still have some collaborations with Nick. And maybe I can pull you inside and then we can do something together.
Yeah, that'd be great. I've talked to Nick a little bit, because he was in the same program.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Fulbright student,
Yeah.
so we kind of connected over Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, he's a Fulbright scholar.
Yeah.
Cool. So Maddox and you are, and also Irene. You know Irene. Yeah. So
Yeah.
she took his physical class.
Okay.
as well.
Oh yeah, I think she told me that. Yeah. But I was wondering how there was a connection, and I realized she was American.
Yeah, so we just finished the Be Saver experiment.
Okay.
Yeah, we tested the cognitive demand, like single angle versus like multiple angle, like 360, and see how that influence people's enjoyment and whether perceived demand will mediate such experience. So we have lots of ideas, and I think we can do really cool things. And even at the end when we write paper, do you have any expectations? Do you want to have papers, as a result, or do you just want to, participate?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get some publishing experience eventually down the line. Of course, I'm not expecting to jump into that semester, even next. I have time there,
Yeah.
But because I have experience, like I did thesis for my undergrad, like and I was working on getting that published, and then COVID happened, and my mentors are like all over the country, so I would like to finally have that published.
Yeah, I'm not sure because you probably want to get a job after this, or do you want to pursue academic?
I think right now I'm looking at pursuing academia,
Oh,
like back in the States,
oh,
getting
okay.
a
Oh,
PhD
cool.
program.
If you're pursuing academic, then you need
Right.
publications.
So that's kind of my goal from this entire
Okay. Yeah, great. So you definitely need to join our team. Otherwise, you won't be able to have the resources to do the experiments. And you can think about any topics you would like to do, or we have so much data. So do you have any experiences, doing the statistics?
I do. I took a few courses in undergrad.
Cool,
It's not like
cool.
my strength, but I'm okay.
Yeah. So you are welcome to also join the process. Because right now, just me and postdoc, we're doing all things. I write the paper and she helped organize the data and all, and I or her do all the analysis. So it's just me and her. But if you're interested, you should join the process and we can provide. And you can be the co-author, or maybe in the future when you propose a study and then I can support your study and we can carry out the study and you will be the first author. I'll just be the co-author or the second or the last author. So you can submit to, for example, conference and even journal articles that can guarantee you to go through the application for PhD. That would be wonderful. Yeah.
So if I wanted to kind of just join in and observe for now, like what is there a meeting date? Is there something I need to show up?
How about you add my Facebook account
Okay.
and then I can introduce you to the PhD. So she's the manager for the whole team, but she and I have some industry side projects right now. We have like several industry collaborations right now, like big projects. So I pull her aside, so she's helping me with we are doing the industry right now. And one of the master students, she's in charge of the other master students right now. So I will introduce both of them to you, and then you can. They will let you know. They're right now searching for the optimal lab space right now because the second study we are not able to use the 导向 the 320 room because the other professor wants to do it. So we're searching for other space right now. So they're testing things and all.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll add you on Facebook and then I'd love to be involved in whatever way I can.
Cool. You're just the first semester here, right?
Right.
Okay. So at least one and a half or
Yeah, 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
I'm not in a huge rush, but it is something.
Oh, sorry. It's so the alarm is so alarming.
But yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not in a huge rush, but I would like to jump in and just kind of see what's out there.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
especially with something I'm interested in like this.
Cool. Yeah,
I'm
we're
open to
doing
anything.
Yeah, no problem. We're doing VR and also video game stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so and you can at least if you cannot carry out the experiments, if you're interested, you can help. Reviewing the literature and then organizing them, and we can talk about different ideas.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm excited to
Thank
get
you.
involved in a little something.
Yeah, that would be that's very important for a master's degree, especially if you want to pursue academic.
Because I do, because I wanted to. I guess that'd probably be where I'd be most helpful right now, like literature review and like that and stuff.
Yeah, and you can directly help with the writing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yay. Have to check out whether everyone's here, and I was like, yes. Yeah, I need to be a pirate today. Cool. I can't believe how much talkative I am. I thought I'm going to cover 2 papers in 1 hour, and now I'm just in the second paper of the second hour. Okay, cool. The second paper is written by me and my. So we did this very complicated experiments. Each experiment took about 45 minutes. We took a whole month to collect all the data. So let's visit this model. When I got this HTC 5, our team and I, when I ordered it, we're one to receive HTC 5 in Taiwan. And I was like, if I got the first HTC 5 even earlier than any of my academic friends in US and in UK, I'm going to think of really cool study that I can publish it before they got their HTC 5 or VR device. So I'm very happy about it. So I was really devoted myself to that. We played a lot of games at that time, but at that time there are not very many games. Only horror games are available, and Brookhaven Experiment was even a trailers style of the game at that time. It's not even a full game. The full game has not released it yet. So our experimental stimulus is actually a trailer. So, but it's similar to the full game. So it's actually the same as the survival mode. And there's only one environment, which is the first one in the left, and it's a ground and all the zombies are coming. Imagine the first time that you heard of VR and then you are invited to the lab to play a VR zombie game, and the first time that you play. So a lot of people are screaming. So I'm really curious about why you are so afraid of that, but you enjoyed it and gave like positive appraisal after that. So here is a really weird, it shouldn't exist like that. For example, you were afraid and fear, like Ari and Eve said in the beginning. It's a negative emotions, but you have enjoyment, which is positive evaluation afterward. So according to Dolph Zillman, if you're interested in video games or any theories in media psychology, you should read any articles and any books by Zillman. He's one of the most fruitful and great communication scholars who invented lots of communication theories and explaining horror movies, explaining media, and all this psychological mechanism. So he's a really great scholar. So he talked about when we enjoy this kind of horror content is because when, just like Ari said, remember in the beginning of the class, Ari said, I am afraid when the suspense is accumulating, right? Through the narration, through like when I go with the skydiving, the airplane is like flying high and high. When you ride the roller coaster, you are riding the roller coaster to really high, right? So that's the accumulation of suspense. It will create this arousal. Which is arousal? Excited. Yeah. So basically, if your arousal is high, you actually feel excited. It can be happily excited or scared excited or sadly excited. So arousal is not definitely positive or negative. Remember when we talk about emotions, it's 2 dimensions. Emotions is always about feelings, and I talked about this before, but I didn't draw it out. So feelings means
emotion. Oh, it smells so bad.
negative. Oh, remember just this, and this is positive. So when we talk about emotion, there is two dimensions. One is feelings, the other one is arousal. Arousal, usually we use these as a arousal. So you can have high arousal or low arousal. So you can be, for example, you can describe your emotion or mood right now. It can be positive or you're in class, so probably not positive, it's just here. But you feel asleep, so it's like low. If you feel asleep and then don't have any emotion during the class, then you're here. So it's like arousal is low. Usually arousal is low, you feel bored or you feel like asleep. But arousal is high, for example, roller coaster. Arousal is high because it's accumulating that suspense. So yeah, so and you can be sad, you can be angry. Angry would be this. Arousal is high. Arousal is high, but negative. And sad
sad, like calmingly sad, like 忧郁 or grief. Those kind of sad is negative and low, but you can be excitedly sad, like arousal is high and then you are sad. So okay, so these are two dimensions of emotion. And when we're back to this, that's that. If you are having a really stronger a fear or anxiety, it will bring you stronger arousal as well. So if you fear a lot, you have a lot of arousal. But some people, different people, they demonstrate different arousal. Some people, when they're so afraid of the content, their arousal is high. But some people, are arousal is not that high. They're probably just constantly nervous, but their arousal is okay, not that high. So here is arousal. Okay, so Zielman said the turning point to turn your negative emotion into the positive appraisal to enjoyment is because of these resolution of threat. He said, remember when you watch a horror movie or horror video, the resolution, the threat is there. So the threat presents in the beginning. So the enemy is chasing the good guy, and the good guy is doing all his best to fight back. And at the climax of the story, probably the good guy died or something, like just like Harry Potter died. And then just, I'm not spoiling anyone, right? So Harry Potter died and then come back to life again. So at that time, and then Harry Potter killed Voldemort. So that's the resolution of threat. So like aroused and like fear and suspenseful, and then Friday the 13th, Jason got locked down, and you're like, whew, you finally relax from that threat. At that time, because of the resolution of threat, it turns your negative emotion into positive. And then here comes arousal again. Because the suspense is high, arousal is high. Arousal will keep going till the end. After resolution of high, arousal is still there. It will amplify the positive emotion that you have after the resolution of threat. So arousal plays the key role to amplify any of the emotions presented or altered by the resolution of threat. Do you understand what I'm talking about? If I give you an example, in the textbook, the author said there's one student, it's a girl, and she recently got in a fight with her fiance a lot, and she just doesn't understand why they would have these fights so frequently. So, and then after she learned these model theory, and then she understand why she got engaged with a fight with the fiance so much is because she always discussed her wedding details with her fiance after she jogged in the morning, like after she exercised in the morning. So here, exercising is an activity will give you arousal. Remember, like every time that you jog for a long time, you feel like, oh, I'm done now. I feel so happy because of all the hormones in your brain and all things. And the arousal, if arousal is high, it will amplify all the emotions that you have. So remember, like for example, like take this girl as an example. She jogged and she talked about the wedding details with her fiance. If there is a little bit disagreement, the arousal will amplify it. So the disagreement, she'll feel really mad about why you disagree with me and all things. So she changed her discussion time to other times, like not after she jogged in the morning, and everything went cool and everything is smooth. So remember not to discuss serious things after you play basketballs or after you watch a really high or excited things. It would probably get worse. So this is the role by arousal. So that's by Dolph Zielman. But my argument is that recently most horror movies, they have a resolution of threat. Remember the
the movie called It. It? No, not It. It is about the clown, right?
Yeah, it is about the plot.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that, but it fits this as well. I was talking about Life. Do you know the movie called Life by the Mars? This people from go to the Mars and get some samples, and the life would just extend. Anyway, we'll talk about It. So It will resurface like every 80 years or something like that. So it's not really a resolution threat. So so it would probably, so these are not satisfying resolutions, but people still enjoyed it. So probably resolution of threat could not be the whole or key or the entire reason to really explain why the outer that can turn the negative emotion to enjoyment. So for me, I think my proposed framework is this: self-efficacy toward the threat. So for me, like Ari or Eve said, I will feel whether I can whether I can endure the horror content later. That's the self-efficacy. If you have high self-efficacy, it can be enough to turn your negative emotion into the positive appraisal. For example, Ari said he would look at the story and feel excited about if he got scared, or if he would evaluate whether he can be able to endure that kind of scary experience. For him, it's just like a challenge. So you're like challenging yourself, and you do believe that you probably can be sitting through the whole horror story, right? Yeah, so you're like, I have high self-efficacy that I can endure this scare. And although I got scared, but I enjoyed it and I loved what a surprise like that, right? So self-efficacy is the thing that I think that can really turn this thing. So that's my proposed theory. So in addition to not compared to resolution of threat, now I don't care about whether you win or lose in the game, because when I play the games, I feel like it's interesting. I enjoy playing the zombie games not because I win or lose. Of course, winning or losing will influence your emotions, but I enjoyed it just because I feel like I can endure these challenges, like zombies in my back, or towards me very, very quickly, those kind of things. So I think this is the key to turn things around. So this is my motto. So my argument is very complicated. Okay, so the negative, it's a three-way interaction. So three-way interaction, it means that if you have high fear and you have high enjoyment, that's only because you have high efficacy and also you have high arousal. So I'll present you with these figures and you probably will understand. It's so hard to describe it in the paper with three-way interaction. This is a graph to talk about our procedure of doing the experiment. Just lots of things, and we asked them to wear the skin conductance, so wristband. So that's to assess your arousal. So that equipment can measure how many frequency of the electricity go through your skin. It means whether you're in high arousal or low arousal, and also whether it has a response. When you got scared or when your arousal is high, you will have like this response with your skin conductance, and this response will be a specific skin conductance event. So you can count how many events that you have. If you have more events, it means that you are high arousal. So when we got that wristband, we will ask our research assistant put it on and said, do you really like your boyfriend? And to make it like a lie detector and see whether the skin conductance, the number will go up really high or something like that. or so it's really funny. They will ask really funny questions to do that. Anyway, so this is really lots of procedures. They have to put on the skin conductance, and they do all the experiment. If you read the paper, it's a very complicated procedure. To set up the efficacy, we first let them watch a video tutorial. No, the trailer of the game through video. So one of my students, I observed, she looked at the tutorial, she's like shaking. And I was like, you are in front of video, not even put on your goggles, and you're shaking. She's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my. She's just looking at the trailer of the video. And then when she put it on, she's like screaming all the time. So after the video, we will ask them to put it on and play for 1 round. It's like 1.5 minutes. So it's a practice, and it will set up their efficacy. So we ask their efficacy second time after they put on the goggle. That's the most accurate time. So we use the self-efficacy when they are still inside the VR. We ask them, are you able to, take out the challenges? Do you think that you can go through the video games later? Something like that. And then if they are okay, we ask them to play minutes of the survival mode of the zombie games. They can finish a level and then go on. And after that, here comes the important things. Remember here in enjoyment, we have 3 indicators. First one is enjoyment, is a scale. So we just present you a list of questions and ask you whether you enjoy the game and all things. This is enjoyment. Second one is intention to play. We ask you, do you want to play again, the similar type? And the third one is a behavior. Behavior is that we directly ask them, if I present a list of games and you can play it again, what kind of games would you choose? So after they played 4 minutes of the game, they get to fill all the questionnaire. After the questionnaire, we said, thank you for coming to the experiment. Here are the list of the games that you can choose to play for another 5 minutes, and thank you for coming. So they really get to choose one game and then start playing that game. So this is the behavioral indicator that we designed for this game. Remember, for social science, behavioral indicators are very important dependent variables. If you design any experiments, if you can involve or include any behavioral indicator, it boosts the quality of the paper a lot, because most of the time people just ask your perception, your attitudes, your emotion. Those are really questions, but if you can include the behavioral aspects, that could be very valuable. So you can see on top of that, when I presented the games to them, it's randomly presented, not like this. This is in the journal. So the top left one is another even more horror game, zombie, called Horror Z, and the right one is what's Horror Elevator. You know what it is? It's a 360 video. It's a real video, and you're just riding an elevator, so it opens the door, nothing, and it closed. But right when it completely closed, some ghost with all the hair in front is a girl pretending to be a ghost, and then slowly, like run into you and then stand in front of you. So you're like got scared, and that's it. So this is the horror elevator. And the second one is called the blue. You can see it's beautiful, and the rose and I beautiful. So people who really hate the horror game will choose this too. And these are a lot of people choose reality too. They really want to go back to reality, and not very many people choose these. A lot of people, and based on my observations, those people who loved playing horror games and not afraid of them, they'll continue playing Horror Z. And those who are so afraid of them do not want to listen to the game at all or ever choose reality or the blue. So this is very interesting. And some people, they are afraid of it, but they want to play again, they will also try Horde Z. And someone specifically insists to play Brookhaven again, so we did not put them into the analysis. He's like, I want to challenge it again. So here we look at the dependent variable. Here's the three-way interaction that we found for this paper. Y in the y-axis is called enjoyment. So if it's higher, it means that enjoyment is higher. Lower means enjoyment is low. Make sure that, okay. In here, you can see there's another dimension called arousal. So the box in the higher position is arousal high. So this is the group with high arousal. And this graph is the group with low arousal. So understand? Okay, so because it's three-way interaction, you need to put two-way in two groups to make it three-way. 三阶交互作用，然后必须要把就是两个交互作用放在不，它就会变成一个三阶交互作用。Okay, I'm just explaining in Chinese, but it's basically the same. Okay, so you can see, and here x-axis is talking about self-efficacy. It means that if it's higher number means higher self-efficacy, lower means lower self-efficacy. And yet there's another one, fear. It's three-way interaction, so fear, arousal, and self-efficacy. These are three independent variables. And enjoyment is a dependent variable. 应变项跟自变项. Okay, so you can see the fear. Okay. This with the round is those who are not afraid at all, low fear, and this is high fear. Okay, so let's see this graph first. Did you see when we see this kind of interaction, there's one way that you can interpret. For example, did you see this line? The round black dots. This line means those people who are not afraid at all, low fear. It's quite flat, right? Quite flat, it means that self-efficacy does not influence that because it's flat. Like regardless high or low self-efficacy, it's just like this. Enjoyment is the same. So here, the most important part is this line with the y square. See, it's not flat. It's a little bit, it's tilted a little bit. So it's a significant. So you can interpret this. Self-efficacy will influence enjoyment among those who have high fear. Of course, especially if you have high self-efficacy among those who are fearful, their enjoyment is high, significantly higher than those who have low self-efficacy. And these interaction only occurs when the arousal is high. It doesn't occur in among those people who have low arousal. Do you see that here is a totally different story. Those who are not afraid of the horror game at all, their self-efficacy is not significant, so it's just like flat. It doesn't really influence it. And so their enjoyment is high because they're not afraid of it, and arousal is high. But for those people who are so afraid of the content, do you see their enjoyment is very low, right? And it's flat. The self did not really influence that. Why is that? Because their arousal is low. They do not have enough arousal to amplify or to turn these enough to turn the self-efficacy to turn the negative emotion, very fearful, very afraid, into a positive appraisal. Only if you have high arousal, then it can turn this high self-efficacy into from fear to enjoy, to positive appraisal. I'm sorry, it's very complicated, but if you understand the theory in the beginning, that's what I had to a lot of time to explain this. Last year or in previous years, when people when students lead up the seminar, they always cannot explain it very well. So this year I decided to teach it by myself. So understand what I'm talking about? Only when you have high arousal, it can amplify your future, the positive emotion. Okay, and self-efficacy is also a very important element to turn negative into positive appraisal. And also, these is similar. Only the difference is future intention to play. So we asked you whether you want to play in the future. So similar, yeah. So if you have high self-efficacy and high arousal, it would make a difference between those who are so afraid of the content. If you are so afraid of that, high arousal and high self-efficacy will turn you into high future intention to play. You want to keep playing this horror video game because you have high self-efficacy, and high arousal can amplify the subsequent positive intention. Okay, but not in the low arousal. You see the no arousal, so they're afraid and they hate the game and they don't want to play anymore. Okay, so these is and for the behavioral part, I didn't put the graph here. It's in the paper because it's not significant. But based on my observation, if you're not afraid, then you pick horsey, and you can see there's a group of people who are afraid, but they still want to play. So they also pick the horror game. So that's the key point from the study. Okay, guys. Holding up now. Still holding up. Understand? It's very theoretical. Okay, so last week we about this, right? And we talked about pro-choice effect, and we talked about swapping bodies, and the drums, we talked about that, right? And the 40-year-old, we also talked about that, right? And the third paper today, we talked. You read the papers, right? So did you think, if you are going to design the first experiment again, how would you design that? It's her, yeah.
Design the cow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, her argument is that embodying a cow will make you don't want to eat beef.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it would have to be like through a slaughterhouse, which is awful.
Yeah, which nobody wants to.
I mean, that's why people don't like PETA, because PETA, they're so graphic in how they show like animals being abused in slaughterhouses.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. So, basically, her first experiment does not really add up to the story because her argument and the mechanism that she's tested are totally different things. But the second experiment is cool. Embodying with a coral and whether that would influence your temporal distance and issue of involvement. Okay, so did I talk about this last week?
No.
Okay, so she did so in addition to swapping bodies, virtual reality can do other things. It's also from, and she's pretty creative. So she's, yeah, you are also very creative. Yeah. She argued that the health officials, they would teach you how to read the nutrition labels, right? In nutrition label, every time we pick up a snacks, we'll look at how many calories, right? It's like how many sizes in these packages and how much calories you have. That she's arguing that some people just fail to read those nutrition labels and they pick their snacks out of their mood and they just love to eat whatever they want to eat. So here, if it's a physical, so she argues that maybe we can use VR as a virtual exemplar to be an exemplar as a model, and it can interpret, it can explain to you. So, as opposed to the traditional way using a flyer and talked about how you can, read the nutrition label. She also designed another condition with a paper with a person in it. So use a person as a case to illustrate how you should read the nutrition label. And the third is a VR. So directly let you experience the physical weight of this physical weight of the snacks, and also the caloric weight. Is it called caloric?
It would be like calories.
Caloric, yeah, caloric weight of the snacks. So in physical weights, which one is the heaviest? Potato chips, or the French fries? Potato usually, and then it's French fries, then is snacks, the potato chips, right? Potato chips are so light, but they have tons of calories, right? So in this condition, when you use your virtual hand to pick up an object, a potato, you feel like and you're like, Professor, how do I pick up an object in VR and feel its weight? It's so hard, right? So they used like a simulation arm. So it's an arm you can put it up. So if it's hard to put it up, you feel like the weight is heavier. And if it's easier to put it up, then it's a mechanic arm to feature and so mimic the VR situation. Yeah. So in this, but the caloric weight condition, if we talk about the weight of the calories, which one would be the heaviest? Probably the potato chips. Usually, if you have the same size portion of this would be most calories, and then second would be the French fries, and third one would be the potato, because eating the raw potato is much healthier than fried it and then put it in a bag. So in this condition, you can feel that, oh, the potato is the lightest compared to the heaviest is the potato chip. You can never do that in the real world. I mean, in the real world, you'll feel that the potato chips is always lightest. So she used VR to make you feel like the caloric weight. So to demonstrate the impossible that you will never be able to mimic in the reality, and you're able to do that through VR, and to see whether that will persuade you to choose a healthier snacks. And here's the results. You can see there's a time 1, time 2, and time 3, but the virtual exemplar is the black line, and it has the better effects, which is the perceived susceptibility, whether this issue will happen to you or involved to you. So this is a very interesting, compared to the base rate and the print exemplar, you can see the VR exemplar has a better effects. Don't you think it's pretty creative? So I would challenge you, or really invite you, not challenge you, I'm sorry, invite you and encourage you to think of all the ways that we can utilize VR to best present or transmit information, because traditional way, the information is always one way, and right now using VR, you can invite people to experience it. So VR really, and games are a different medium to really transmit or to be a media. So class, I invite all of you to think of video games and VR as a type of media to deliver information. So if you want to do this way, what kind of characteristics you have to think about, and how you can design it. So, and I think Grace she's really creative in using this. And during the pandemic, the COVID-19, she even used VR to let different places of the family to meet up in person, and that really increased their bonding and so the family thing. So I think she's very creative in developing these implications and applications. Okay, so you can see, yeah, accessibility and severity, the virtual exemplars are always the better. Okay, and they always they also ask them the total calories. See, total calories in the next week is much fewer than the base rate and the print exemplar. So that's the behavioral indicator. She asked them next they want to buy. So she calculated the total calories. Okay, so this is her really cool studies. Okay, and did I talk about this last week? the domestic violence. This is going back to swapping body or changing the perspective. So this is by Slater. We know Slater, right? Slater, and let's see here. Maria Slater is here. His team is crazy enough, but creative enough. They invited the criminals that has the record of domestic violence in Spanish and invited them to the lab and to experience what it was like to be the victims of the domestic violence. And so they would take the role as a young or the female characters who got, you know, domestic violence, and they hope that those victims can reduce their bias. So because they would feel the scary face as an enjoyable face. That's the bias. So they kept doing the, you know, the oral violence or different types of violence. But this experience, they want them to change their perspective. If they got the domestic violence themselves, whether they would decrease their bias. So see that. So let me see if I can. Yeah, it's a video. I swear, but it can. Okay. Let's 要退出吗？那我这样全荧幕还可以吗 ？OK。
可是这样上面看不到。
没关系啊，就
让它同步显示。
对。
它竟然好像不会同步显示。
为什么？这是你的电脑吗？
对。
为什么？
我又不知道。再回去进去试试看。
Here, you can see this. 那你直接帮我就是那个。Are you able to see this? Because when we're in Teams, when we're recording, it's really hard to. Or you can. 你帮我全荧幕吗？可以。
现在在。
没有，我全荧幕是要给他们看，就直接这样给他们。
花束现在在那边。
哦，回不来吗？
对 ，it's not coming back.
Okay, so anyway, you see, the guy was having the verbal violence, and then he would throw the phone later. Anyway, you can check out the video yourself. Just type the yeah. 这样回来了。
Yeah, it's back.
但是他就回来就没有 video 了，好奇怪，不懂。I don't understand why the video was not playable, you know, during the full screen mode. Yeah. Anyway, so if you can see this, you can. Yeah. So here he threw the phone, and then he got really close to you, invite your personal distance, and he would say, "Do you know why I do this to you? Because I love you." So it's a very violent way to do this. And so they put the male and experience this, and their results are pretty positive. But they said it's probably not accurate because, you know, they probably have social desirability. Do you guys know what is social desirability? Means that when there are other people present and they ask you, do you think we should save do you think we shouldn't use nuclear power, or do you think we need to save the weather, like make the weather better or something? You will always observe other people's attitudes and expressions to answer the most ideal answer to, you know, to fit other people's preferences. So in this case, they probably would say, "Hey, definitely, I will reduce my bias. I will not do that again." So that's. But I think it's a really cool way to really let them feel be abused by your intimate others. Okay, so I'm going to talk about industrial applications. That's very interesting, and to save you from falling asleep. Yeah. Oh, there's so much that I want to talk to you about, but I don't have time, so I'm sorry. But this, have you checked out this 360 video in virtual app? Oh, sorry.
We can
In
try.
virtual reality. Yeah. Check it out by yourself. Hog Rider 360. You're riding the hog. Yeah. Or anyone can. Okay, I can do this. Directly go to the YouTube. 但是现在 YouTube 他们也看不到吗？你这个没办法镜像。
对，
不懂
为什么之前都可以啊，只有今天。
Sorry.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, if you go, you can swipe your screen around. I mean, you're riding a hog, so in 360, it's a very creative way. Riding a hog, and you can look around, but in computer you need to drag your screen. It's like that. It's very interesting. If you get to use a goggle to look at it, it's totally different. And it drags you to the clouds and then coming back to the ground. It's really interesting. Yeah. Well, there is, yeah. Their strategy is really cool. 这样回来吗？好像在这边。好像还是不行。Okay. Okay. Yeah. We tried Box VR, right? You know, I tried Box VR. Coco, you played Box VR, and Ari, you played Box VR, and you loved it, right? And next day, I got my Oculus Quest 2. I tried my Box VR in Oculus Quest 2. It was a different version. You get to play it with other. Not this game, I'm sorry. So many other people, and then you box with them. It's so cool, and I shared that video on my Facebook account. It was public, so you can all go to see them, or maybe I can, yeah, because you can see you can sense lessons when you're boxing. You can see other people are also boxing, and it's global player. It really makes me feel connected to other people. Sometimes you exercise alone. You feel lonely and you don't want to do it anymore. But other people are so seriously keep boxing. You're like, I want to keep boxing as well. So you feel like you're in the gym and boxing with others. And they gave you the records, so you can see how you did well. So that social presence, just one tiny little change, can really boost your motivation. And this one has already been published, Population 1. It's a survival game. And in the beginning, you are in the clouds and you fly down. You fly down, skydive down, and then you started to make friends. And among all the, for example, like 100 people, you have to survive till the last. So it's a really interesting social game. Yeah, and the video is really cool, so you can check it out. And we play this Rec Room, right, Grace? And you did a really cool application. And this one, oh, I just don't have video to show you. Social aspect, you know, in PSVR. So you are the tutor. You have to interact with this girl, and she'll ask you, "Sensei," it's a Japanese, right? Sensei, why is this? And then you get to really be close. So, I guess guys really like this. It's like, for me, I just don't have motivation to hang out with another girl. I don't know. If it's another guy, maybe I love to do that. So. A real girl.
A real girl is not going to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not real. It's not real.
It's really gonna happen.
But it's to interpret her. So that's in 2016 or 17. But yeah, and there are other other applications. Let's see if this is application in the e-health, telemedicine. So when you do this, they have the data. Yeah, so the US companies are really developing all this telemedicine, telehealth, and even the counseling can do that in VR. So this is highly boosting right now, but Taiwan is like parallel world. It's like, so we don't do this. But yeah, so there are lots of in e-health. And the US military is great using the VR to so if you put on the goggles, then you are inside the drone. So you know how to control it to really do the arrow and defense. So you can check out the borders or the areas that you want to scout for. So I think it's really cool. And so this is for so you get to put it on and control that. So yeah, it's like this. Oh, and you get to use the app phone post. You can intersect. So you're inside the group using the to do. So whoa, so US military is very advanced level. Why are you sighing? Yeah, U.S. military. No comment. But Noah is out. We can.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Well, but they are the major, major industry, major group to boost the technology and the application. Even video games, remember, video game industry is boosted by U.S. military. So yeah, thank you, U.S. military. Yeah. So okay, I'm going to skip this, but here we Coco Bohua, right? Is it Qiu Bohua? Yeah, you. Oh, okay. And Coco, yeah, and no, did you? No, not you. You and you two experienced the gallery, yeah, the art gallery. So they also do lots of different galleries and also like this kind of forums, so people can join in for education purpose and for conference. So these are lots of applications, and this is by Grace An. So during the pandemic, early in April, they did this virtual reality 3D conference. So see, this is Grace An, this one in person in virtual reality. So they hold the conference in virtual reality, and it's really hot right now. A lot of virtual reality conference. Want to have your avatar, you can put yourself into a robot and put your face in front of the robot, and a selfie. That's a 大合照 for everyone, gathering photo, and that's Grace An, yeah, holding a cheese plate to everyone, and giving the red wine to the dog, and that's a selfie. This is also a selfie. So I think it's really cool. Can you imagine, having a conference in virtual reality and walking people did that in Rec Room. As you're just talking about academic academia things. So it's really interesting. And I didn't have a chance to show you, for example, like Mona Lisa's smile. Is that Mona Lisa? Mona Lisa? Mona Lisa. It's just called Mona Lisa. If you get to watch that, it's really cool. The Mona Lisa will sit in front of you and it will explain her hair, her decoration, and to see what kind of background she is. And this is from the screen, so you can feel this. So you can get into the painting, just like the first time we talked about Van Gogh's painting. Yeah. So you know the artist lost losing virtuality because her painting. Wow. So really, it's a go. Oh, it's a screen. It's a screen. Wow. Why does it make it so? It's like for me, maybe screen can be happily screen. Maybe my world is happy. I just don't want to make like that. Okay, this Mona Lisa is much better. So get to really sit in, like stand in front of Mona Lisa and see. If you get to go to the Palace Museum in Taipei, be sure to sign up the VR demonstration. It's so cool. Last year, 2 years ago, I took one of the U.S. scholar from the U.S. We went to Palace Museum. We just swing by and see this, and all the reservations are full, but those two people didn't show up, so we get to watch them. It was so cool. You get to get into this painting, Qingming Shanghe Tu. I'm sorry, it's just a painting from Qing and Ming Dynasty. It's a long painting, and then you get go into that like in different scenes, and there's a mini games. For example, in one of the this a rainbow bridge. You get to be in the boat, and then you have to throw this anchor to the to 岸上 to the shore. Thank you. And so and the emperor will be floating in the air and talking to you about history, and you get to pick up all the little people, each one of you, and there's a mini game. You have to identify which people, where is Willy VR version. You can throw them around, and in this one you get to restaurants. There's a mini game of like diner dash. Yeah, so they order the dish and you have to remember it, and then there's so many cool dish like hot pot just in front of you. A hot pot, you can take it and then take it to the table. So it was a really fun game. And there's use like traditional drama, and then like 布袋野台戏. So you get to wear the traditional costumes and like that. So it's really cool. And this is talk about Germany, the wall between the Germany, and they take you in VR. You can get to experience what if you're in another side of the wall, what it's like. Yep. So there are so many different others. Okay, I'm going to talk about this, and then I'll let you have a break. After this, I'll give you 10 minutes break. This is called HoloRide. It's by Audi. Audi is really experimenting with VR. Audi is an automobile company, right? So HoloRide is, they have this application that said if you're riding a car and in the car you're boring and you don't want to do anything, what can you do? So this is their demonstration. It's a boring rich girl, I guess. I don't know. Like, why would you want to put on Here, but I'm just wondering, this will be very effective in Taiwan during holidays, especially you're stuck on the highway like 3 or 4 hours. So I'm wondering what it was like in 3 or 4 hours, just like in the same spot, or does it probably will over other games or something like that. So it's an interesting idea, and so I really encourage you to. There will be more and more applications coming out, as a standalone VR device getting really popular. Plus 5G. I'm in a 5G connection right now. It's really fast. So, it really changes how the content and how the way you consume media. So, in addition to theories, I really encourage you to think about the applications combining VR and 5G that really can, change the way that we do entertainment and different things. Okay, let's take a break of 10 minutes and then we'll come back. Yeah. 谢谢。
谢谢，这个是我的那个禁用单，就是说要分2次办。
好 ，OK。为什么？
因为我的
就是12月，然后
一
1月，1月的这样
对
就没了吗？
就这样而已。
好，那其他的都不好了吗？
其他的我今天要去找主任签。
好，主任。
对对对。
你说像倩宇就是那个玉敏
老师。
Sorry. Always make. Yeah， 好。那他不在的话，你要怎么办？你就留在那边请他。
在倩宇助教那边。
好，那再去拿。
对。
那你好，那你就千万赶快去跑这样子。那 Nick 的也有跑吗
？Nick 的还没有，就是我有去。
就跑你跟何倩还有我的这样。
还有2位讲师。
2位讲师，对。
那个比较。
就是我们，因为这堂课它不是有很多业务费嘛？对，就是我们拿去买了一些游戏啊。对。
它有4万是就是有4万跟6万，然后6万那个是增额的。
对，
就说是跟国际课程。然后我现在是都，就我们，我想想。
你刚才玩那个 Hog Rider， 超可爱。他在看那个，他在猪屁股上看别人 ，so cool，I love that。
你要。老师是想要再买那个眼罩的，
不是眼罩已经买了，然后何谦会给你那个收据，然后游戏我们也买了很多。
对，有一位再收到一个。我有再收到一个游戏，只是说
谁给你游戏？
就是何谦有再给我1张。
OK， 之后我们会给你很多张，因为那个是一张买的，那个到时候会再给你很多发票，然后那个就要麻烦你要赶快报。
那我也可以，它是可以报在。
都可以啊，就是这边我记得也有吧。
他写
说什么就是相关好。对啊。这个是数位内容嘛？那我们那个游戏也是数位内容啊。
然后这里也是，
这边也有，
这2个都可以。
都可以。
OK。
对，然后我们买了不少。
OK。
没有到很多钱，但是就是到时候请你赶快报，然后就有很多单据这样。然后因为它是外国的 company。就是何健给你的是台湾的，就简单报，但是我的是在 Steam 上面买的，是国外的 company 的，所以就是收据给你以后啊，我还会给你我的信用卡账单，信用卡账单还会有手续费，因为国外的交易会有手续费，然后到时候就是全部券给你，然后你可能就是要去报一下这个部分，
然后我会就是再跟他们说明一下。
对，就说这是国外的，然后你看问他们说是不是要当天汇率，还是不需要，就是直接信用卡账单出来就多少，对，就是这样就 OK 了。 应该这个报完就没有什么其他的。
主要是那个 Nick 的税务。
哦，对，Nick 的税务要全部都他的课程全部上完以后才能去算嘛，因为他6堂全部都给我们以后，我们才能算说他是不是全部要拿到多少钱，然后多少税这样。
总共是他的6堂是
就18个小时
，18个
，18小时，然后全部都是
这里是
5000个的，对，5000元的18小时。
所以他是这2份。
对，他就是18万，没错。
OK， 然后
但18万就要扣那个税，好像要扣多少的。对。
OK， 我有去问出纳，他说有网络可以先参考，
好，
然后再问他。
好 ，OK。
一件事，
好，就是什么报告？
就是上周的，就是因为我要去交换，所以我可以帮我写。
可以，没关系。那你就是先拟个草稿，它是要英文还是中文？
应该是英文。
好，那你帮我拟一些草稿，就说就是平常你对这个国家就是为什么会很 passionate， 然后你平常表现怎么样？就平常都很积极，然后就是希望可以推荐。你觉得你的草稿怎么样？那可以。好，对。
我一件事情要告诉你。清明节。
哦，北宋，不是清跟明的那个，好白痴。没有，可我记得那时候看那个什么，看那英文的 translation 啊，
对，汴京，
他好像就写成清跟明。对。那你帮我查一下他英文叫什么？
是清明节的上河图。
哦，是哦，对，所以不是清跟明的。
我也以为是清代跟明代。
对，有时候上课讲很快的时候都会讲反。像有一次那就是草船借箭，我就讲成火船借箭。他说火船要怎么借箭这样，船都烧了。Along the river during the Qing festival. 啊 ，sorry， 把它讲成。Sorry, they're reminding me that the painting is not from Qing and Ming Dynasty, it's from Song Dynasty.
Oh.
Qingming is a festival.
Humanity Excellent Scholarship. That was good. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
That was good. I wanted to be an MVP though, because I was like wondering if I was gonna meet with people to do the mission or not.
You know that he got it like the only academic excellence scholarship for this program.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he special guy.
Yeah.
Special man. I wish I could get an excellent scholarship.
But you didn't get a scholarship before getting the program.
对哦，你没讲，我忘记这件事情。
大家都还没上。
是的。
好。
哎呀。
对，讲到重点。
必然。真的？为什么？他说看。好啊，你买。这是游戏吗
？Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you, Minnie.
先帮这个。
因为那个超市。是原本是只是看那个。
再上来。
是啊。
是我有拍摄的记笔记。
因为如果要新高始要跟我讲说是要进服务嘛，然后去签报纸。
意思很好，然后我等下打电
你说吗？
啊，没有那个有写着。
哦，我们是合作的。
对，就写的，可是没有导游的。因为我也没有写。因为我开电脑，我这边参加一个文字。
那我也是花。
哎，上面没有。
哦，总共就是。
可是我还没有这个可以用。所以他这个他没有办法编辑，说你刚刚的字，然后把。因为我这边找页面。不是那个书架功能它不有没有，就是大家哦，因为我没有其实。还是小手嘛，现在是你现在上的话，会被它这个是我个人觉得。
别动。
哦。这个好像教学课程，然后讲重点，主任对我上课都可以去。啊，我是很好的。穿短袖，但是我真的没办法。
所以你是换数字。
你现在好开心哦。那是什么？那是 Apple 的哦，平板。
对。
iPad Pro 吗？
对。
哇，多少钱啊？4万。
差不多。
哇哦，哇，感觉很好玩，好薄哦。难怪就都在睡觉，不来上课。
没有啊，不是吧？
睡着了，好可爱。啊，这个是给他们点名的，他们点完了吗 ？Have you guys you know did this? Have you guys done this? Scan the QR code. Who's going to present today? Yay! Okay. Okay, just give me like 10 more minutes and it's all yours. Where's your mouse? Mouse. I need your mouse.
There.
帮我回去我的那个 pause. Did you scan the QR code? Oh no, 他们还没有。
那先让他们用。
好，先让他们用。哦，你也拿到蓝色的吗？
蓝色的
iPhone 啊？
没有，这是旧的。
啊，对不起，旧的会有蓝色。OK。
这是壳。
啊 ，sorry, you know my eye is hard to tell. 什么东西？
说这个防疫点名是为了点名还是防疫？
都有，不是给我点名，是那个就是学校说如果反正就是如果你中了，他就可以从这里面再去看说哦，那天有谁都来了。对，就是你那天没来，然后如果你那天有来，那你所有接触的学生他都要。
But they're probably not going to come in and look for every single.
No. So they use this QR code.
Yeah. To check who's
Yeah.
But I feel like they don't.
They're not going to check. They will only send me an email say, "Hey, you didn't use the QR code to let them to do this," and I was like, "I don't care." Okay, here's another really cool application that I want to show you. In Japan, it's really cool. You know the concept of convenience store without any people.
Yes.
How do you call them? No human convenience store. Or
I guess self-serve.
Oh, self-serve. Thank you. Self-serve sounds better than no humans. Self-serve convenience store. So, did you see that they use VR so you can be in your house or in your office and you can control that robot to feel the products, because it's self-serve. If you insist that it's self-serve and no human or no staff will coming and to do the reloading of the products, they use the robots. So you want to be precisely control the robot. It's best that you are embodying the body of the robot, so you can use VR to do that. And I think it's really creative, but I guess it's very expensive. So, when I teach this in EMBA class, those bosses, like company bosses, they're thinking about how can I use this for my business and companies, and they're like, probably too expensive. But see, this is so cool. So you get to, when you put on the goggle, you get to see your hand and you can control it. It's just like the sci-fi movie that we saw, 环太平洋. I don't know the English name of it. Pacific? Yeah. There's a movie called Pacific. It was like they're inside the giant, robot and fighting the alien. Like using VR, and you can control that robot. Okay, so there are so many, and yeah, okay. There are so many other surfaces, and here VR industry is boosted by gambling industry a lot. Why do you do this? Because during the pandemic, they can still continue their service and get your money. In addition, you get to being VR. You want to look at other people's moves, other people's cues to determine whether they're bluffing or not. So here, I like this. This is so cool. Oh. Oh yeah. Sorry, be in the middle, like see begin. It's presence is a lot, and it's really cool. Right. Cigarette. Cigarette. Yeah. The reason they need this is because doing this the thumb there. He's doing this. He's a thumb. Okay, so my point is that when you're doing react, that's very important to get to know how to do so. They can do this so cool, isn't it? It's really the real. Like, okay, I'll skip this, but it's really. Oh yeah, no, not again. So you can see, hey, this is really cool. The VR cube scene and even a bar. So there, and this, I love this. I mean, the Korea, they have this marketing campaign that Innisfree is a cosmetic brand, and they invite all the girls here, and you can put a goggle on, and this star is taking you on a date, and it's like he's holding the camera, but inside goggle he's holding your hand. So it's really cool, and it's low cost. You only need a 360 camera to do this, and it's like you're within and with So it's a VR. VR can do that, you know. So I come up with the idea for a restaurant in 101, because you know it's so tall, it's 85th floor. So there's sunset, and during the night is beautiful. It's different, but you know, like us, we don't have money, so we don't go there very often. But they can use this kind of 360 video to promote that to to really encourage and stimulate your desire to go there and experience that kind of the sunset and really different things. So I would say we can date with Liu Yihao and the guys can date with, you know, Zhiling Jie. You can invite them to take the 360 video. Do you think it's really cool to, you know, yeah. And for US people who you want to date, the stars that, anyway, you can put it there. Anyway, so 360 video, I mean VR, we can do a lot of things. Okay, I'll stop here and I'll leave time for, you know, the group of students. I hope this 2 weeks and the other 2 weeks that we actually experience VR and this 2 weeks with the theories and studies and the applications can give you an overview that the potential of games and VR can do for our industry. So I hope you learned a lot. Did you learn? Yeah. Okay. Li, Coco, and your English name is Ting Li. Oh, Ting Li, ma. Okay. Your English name is Ting Li. Okay. Ting Li and Lily experience the art gallery. There are so many chairs here. How many pages? Oh, okay. Sorry. It only give you like 30 minutes. See, I'm talkative.
So,
maybe you can.
它现在是延伸荧幕，所以你们就是这里跟这里会是不一样，我没办法同步。
我们只能看这里。
你们可以开一个，
我们可以开。
然后这边如果你们按的话，它就会下一页。就是像这个滑鼠是在上面，
这个，所以我还是要看那个。
你要控制这里的话，要看这个，就会变成这样子，因为它没办法同步。
好崩溃。
因为 Teams 的关系。
OK，
辛苦。
但是你们如果播影片怎么办？
直接再跳出去。
在这边按你的影片，如果是
因为我是连接跳出去。
那就要就要调，可以试试看，因为就是你用 Teams 的话，它没办法直接播 YouTube 的影片。像刚刚老师那个也是只有下载下来的才可以。
那其实还是都是要点
直接下载下来。
对，所以上次那一组才会一直就是要跳出来。
那有一些很懒，没有下载下来，然后直接弄 YouTube。
那我们等下就再跳出去。
是看上面这个。
所以等一下从上面点。
哦，等一下从上面点。哦，好，如何跳出去？
So we are going to introduce about the video games and virtual reality as perspective technologies for healthcare and overview. I'm Coco. So first I'm going to introduce about the introduction and the persuasive technologies and healthcare. Then Lily, we're going to explain about the computer simulation and advantage and challenge. And the last, Ting Li will introduce the persuasive design and conclusion. So let's get started about some main points in this article. So this paper used the example such as video games and virtual reality, those persuasive technology as means to change attitudes and behaviors in the area of healthcare. So using those persuasive technologies can potentially facilitate change in a person's attitudes or behaviors. So what is persuasive technology? It means the technology change attitudes or behaviors of the users through persuasion, but not through enforcing. So I have some examples of the applications of persuasive technologies, such as promoting alcohol and smoking cessation, and also the drug using. Okay, and also the motivation to exercise and promoting the health eating. So I have a video that explains how to prevent the drug using. Go.
What happened? Some.
Okay.
So how do people?
Hey,
see?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of people say.
So this is a kind of persuasive technology, and I have another example that's similar to the what we have played before, the what's that? The Big Saber and the boxing one. Yeah.
You have to choose your head.
So next, this chart. You can see, as you can see, there are computing technology such as the internet, mobile devices, exercise equipment, video games, and virtual reality, and persuasive intent, including the behavioral change, motivation, changing worldview, and attitude change. So the captology, that means computer as persuasive technology, is the intersection between the computing technology and persuasive intent. Next. So this chart, the persuasive technology can function as tools, mediums, and social actor. So tools means increasing capabilities. For example, the virtual reality and video games can make things easier to understand. Sometimes they have some instructors or narrators to guide we, like how to do things correctly. And role as a medium means that providing experiences such as the virtual rehearsal and the virtual reward. And also sometimes in the games, they will provide us some scores and some levels to let us have more motivations to keep playing the game and to beat the levels or want to get a higher score. So role as a social actor means creating relationships. For example, we can make the virtual reality world and get the positive feedback from the people in there. So there's an example of how virtual reality make us to know things easier. This is a math virtual. So, okay, next. Okay, so we are going to introduce this part.
So in this part is called computer simulation. The answer tag in this part, so this section presents computer simulation technology in terms of video games and virtual reality. So they divide this part into two sections. One is video games, one is virtual reality, along with their adoption in the area of health and healthcare. So in the field of video games, the answer and the section introduced three kinds of games, like for example, games for health. Oh, sorry. Okay, the first one is games for health, and there are two lists we will see in the next slide. Let's see the games for health first. So you can see the picture. The picture on your right-hand side is a child is holding the console games, like trying to have game in the hospital. Say that a lot of teenagers and child are resistant to the treatment because they don't know what's going on and they are afraid of the treatment, like the needle, like the surgery. So like when you have when you give them some gaming experience and explains what's going on next and the process, they are more willing to accept the surgery and the treatment next. So it helps the communication between the patient, the doctor, and the nurse, and also the parents. So So let's see the. I also have a video about the games of Full House, which is a VR game. So this game is to help the rehabilitation process for the stroke patient, for them to train their muscles, their grip strength, and for them to improve their capability to bring back to a normal life. And this So during the process, during the process, patient will gain the enjoyment and also they will recover gradually from the process.
我看不到滑鼠，我好像有看到，刚滑。
好 okay. So this is example of games for health. The next two video games. Okay.
Persuasive.
Okay. On your right hand side is called serious game. So what is different? It's more for education, for you to train your brain, your memory, for you to learn something. So for example, there are like matching games for you to train your memory, and in the middle is called Sudoku. So for you to like try to figure out to fill in the form, and the next one is called vocabulary games for you to memory the vocabulary with the game. So it's called serious game, more for like education purpose. And the next one is called persuasive games for you to change the behavior. So when you are playing these games, it's more like you'll learn something and you will change your attitude in the end. So this game is for the child to tell them like not to eat the junk food and to keep health. And if you eat too much junk food, your diet will be, your body shape will like not getting good, or your health won't be good. So it's called persuasive games. And in the next part is called virtual reality. Virtual reality. Okay, so virtual reality, like as we learned a lot, is more to bring you like immersive experience and of creating the feeling of being there and being in a character and being like you are in a place. So virtual reality games is so present the possibility of creating new motivation, and it's being explored in many areas of health, including for prevention, harm reduction, rehabilitation, as we see before. It's also the VR game of rehabilitation for the stroke patient, and for training and exercise and fitness. So on your right hand side, this game is for like training your muscles, and on your left hand side, this game is for training your muscles, and on your right hand side, this game is for like preventing some situations. So this game is created by a girl top team, was also it's created for the women like to prevent them facing the situation of sexual harassment. So it tells you how to face the situation and to prevent this kind of emotion, and tell you how to react when you face this kind of situation. So they also talk about some advantage and challenge in the further research and also in the current research of the situation. So the use of video games and virtual reality technologies as persuasive platforms provide several advantage and challenge. So let's talk about the advantage first. So when playing games is not only video games, but also virtual reality games, you can receive entertainment. Like for example, in these photos, the child is Finn explained again about Santa Claus in the hospital. So because he's in the hospital, so he might be depressed. But being playing this game, like interact with the Santa Claus and receiving some virtual gift from the Santa Claus, he might feel happy in the process. In the process of treatment. And another advantage is multimodality. So there are different modes and different kind of designs in the games. So that brings you the advantage. And the next one is intuitiveness. It means that it's easy to play the game. So like whenever you have some gear, goggles, devices, and the internet, and like teach you like 5 minutes how's the rules going on, and who are you gonna defeat, then you will know how to do it in the next like the whole games. So you don't have to learn a lot, like don't have to learn for 1 year, like even 10 minutes, you know how to play the games. And the next one is interactivity. So like you are able to interact with the character, with the any scenes in the video games. And another one is accessibility. So like as I mentioned before, just give you the gear, the goggles, and the internet, and you are able to access the games and play the games. But there are also some issues and challenges in the world of VR and video games, and also in the further research is the design of the game. So how to design? So how to design an interactive game, again, that like might change your behavior, your attitude is the most difficult part, like to arouse your attention to play this game. And the next one is evaluation, like how to evaluate your happiness, your sadness, your fear. It's still, and how to design the evaluation, it's still a problem for the further research. And the next one is personalization. So like how to cater everyone's preference, like the colors, the avatars, the characters, like every content in the game is really diverse. So how to cater everyone's preference is difficult. And the last one is negative sentiments. So like it is said that video games or maybe VR games can arouse some negative sentiment and even some fear sentiments, as we discussed before. So how to avoid those sentiments to be aroused is a topic that is going to be discussed. So next part will be Team Lee.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce how to design persuasive game in this part. So it is also a very important part in the paper. So many studies have shown that in serious game, presenting healthcare information through the attractive and interactive form of a game will naturally result in learning and knowledge retention, and it will finally carry out some behavior and attitude of people to change. But however, the process in reality is not that simple, and the researchers point out the biggest obstacle would be people's different personalities, because what persuasive digital games works for some personalities may have adverse effects on others, or different effects on compared to other people. So it really highlights that applying persuasive strategies and design principles is very important for designing this interactive simulation in games. So we're gonna talk about some strategies and design principles next, and most of them are founded on prior experience and theoretical models of persuasion, attitude, and behavior change. So the author mentioned 10 examples of persuasive strategies in the paper, and we summarized 8 of it. So we're gonna briefly talk about these items. So first is customization, and an example of customization would be allow the players to customize their virtual characters, for example, like avatars. And researchers have also pointed that ethnic similarity between the players and video game characters can contribute to engagement and more. And next strategies would be self-monitoring and feedback. So it is about allowing users to keep track of their own behavior, which can be achieved when supplied with both past and present game states. So self-monitoring and feedback will allows players to track about their
perform action in the game. So it will lead the users to be able to predict their outcome and also avoid them to guess what will happen next in the game. And next one is suggestion. It is about introducing or assigning text to the players by guiding them to achieve desired text and avoid them become lost or stuck by not knowing what to do or how to progress in the game. And this fourth strategy is personalization. So it is about offering contents and that can be tailored for users in a way that suits their characteristics and preference. So in the personalization features, it includes like personalized controls, avatars, user's interface, or voice acting. And so next one is about praise. So praise is also linked to in-game rewards. So it is about giving positive feedbacks to the players. But we also have to note that negative feedback can also be a kind of persuasive strategies because it can dissuade the players from doing any undesirable behavior in the game. So the researchers seeing positive feedback and negative feedback both as a mean of beneficial persuasion in this case. And next one is reward. This is also the most common strategies that we've seen in the digital games. It is about providing virtual rewards and incentive for users because providing rewards for users who have successfully achieved the task is very important. Otherwise, the players might not want to play the game anymore, or they will not want to repeat the behavior that the game designer want them to repeat. So they can change their bad behavior habits through the game. And next one is comparison. It's about providing a way for users to compare his or her performance with other players. So this mechanism is players can share information with other players and they can create a social network, social support network in the game. So they can have more motivation to play it with other people and inspire each other in this game so they can progress together. And the final one is competition. It is also very commonly used. It is enable users to compete with others. So the important thing is that players they are not necessary to coexist in the same game environment because they can also compete by sharing the high score or the in-game rewards together. And the important thing is that we cannot only compete with people because the players can also compete or cooperate with artificial intelligence in the game. So the AI is controlled by the computer, so they can also be the object of the players. So here is our final video. So the video is introducing a company called Yoga. Yoga is a company that designed several digital games for patients who have diabetes or some heart-rending problems to use this digital game improve their health problem and to change some bad behavior habits in order to improve the disease. So we will this one.
预防是谁？
Digital games.
in the game and you have to keep the heart rate steady.
Very
But I'm
difficult.
excited to see it going through. Oh, wow, that's a good challenge.
And so, finally, we'll have our conclusion of this paper. So this paper considers video game and virtual reality as a means to change attitudes or behavior in the area of healthcare. And interactive computer simulations will create attractive entertainment while it can also deliver specific information and message about healthcare to the players. And also it is very vital to base the game design of such system on persuasive design principles and strategy that are on the ground of theoretical change of models, which is the 8 items that we give you as an example. And the final one is that the effect and outcome of these design principles and models on behavior change is actually still an open challenge that needs to be addressed. So in order to gain more insight about how to apply video games to the area of healthcare is more to discuss by the researchers in the future. So, yeah. Thank you.
Practical research to talk about different guidelines and principles, so it's useful. And the paper is also useful if you're interested in designing things. So if you don't mind, can you upload the paper and the PowerPoint and to share with your classmates? And so, because you only, you talk about the 8 points, but they have 11 points, right?
10.
Oh, 10. Okay, so people can figure out, classmates can figure out what the other 2 points they're talking about. But they did a really good job. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so next 2 weeks, we're going to have online classes. So I'm going to see you in 3 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, because there are 2 executive weeks. Yeah, by Dr. Bauman. So remember to do the reflection, not reflection, yes, reflection. Yeah, discussion, yes. Okay. Cool, I'll see you in 3 weeks.
And I sent you a friend request.
Yeah, I had questions. Yeah. Okay, think about your term paper topic, okay? Send me an email if you have any questions or if you want to talk about your term paper. Okay, cool. Thank you.
I don't know how they're gonna do. I don't know how they're gonna.
还是只一个人就要完成这个就 OK。哦，好，那我们有时钟是交通动手。我觉得。会有一次跟有点像中间的前人，然后再后才会。哦，好，那我觉得你比较准。OK， 好，谢谢，谢谢，辛苦了，谢谢。
眼镜。因为我们刚刚是这样的，我刚说这个题目是。那是因为头发太乱。
那我可以立刻给我的老师。
以人为单位，但是要组也不反对，只是组会很难写。对，就不会建议用组，就是之前也会说，哦，应该不是一起，就是说最多2个人。我觉得3个人怎么写可以。对，我觉得2个都很奇怪，对，就是自己写可以，然后最多2个人。
但 paper 就是
对，就是就很像我们看的那些其他文章，前面都会有一些 literature review 啊，然后重点你的 argument 到底，就是你觉得应该怎么会导致什么，把你模型画出来，那其他人是怎么做，他们做了什么，这些就是你的 literature review，然后讲了什么概念什么之类的，然后就是写到第3章前面，就是2章就好，就是你就讲一下你要那个 model 是什么就可以了，所以就是一个 research proposal，但是不用写到什么 method 或什么之类的，要写也可以，但是基本上就是不用写没关系，但是就是那个 research model 要出来的。
那老师，我们最后期末都教还是期中也有？
期末都教，但是期中原本在叫你教 bibliography，是叫你们去找那些文献，但想说你们够忙了，就是因为 online course 除了要看还要写 discussion board， 所以就没有逼，就叫你们就好好想想要写什么就 OK 了。那个只是就是提前要你们去看一下有没有什么相关的文献，对。但是因为我们这学期讲的题目都还蛮新的，其实文献都很少，就是有时候找不到10篇这样。但是可以就是自己去做一下，就是自己想说自己主要做什么，然后可以写成什么样子这样。反正我们这堂课有那个就是晤谈的时间，所以就是在那个之前就是把它整理好，然后你就可以晤谈，所以再给你更 personalized 的那个 feedback。对，谢谢，拜拜，拜拜。Hey, Erin. Hi. Good. How are you? Good. Yeah. Okay. You're not afraid of the chilliness today.
No, I like this one.
Oh, cool.
This is like perfect.
你看那个，
我现在去回来我去。
你说。
I feel like this year got colder faster than last year.
I'm sorry?
Like it got colder faster.
Oh, like, really? But really?
Yeah.
I actually have no memory about last year. Yeah, so I don't know about last year.
Oh.
Can't remember. It's November.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is November now. Yeah.
But it's not that cold. It's just chilly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I just wanted to like talk about so if I'm doing nostalgia and pneumonia,
okay.
Should I focus on like movies specifically or like video games specifically?
No,
or
it's really up to you.
Okay.
Well, I think you want to maybe narrow down to one media.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure which one can really fit into your model, but you can think of that. Because either one will have nostalgia. Pneumonia maybe, or movie, or the video game can be. It really depends on what game you're talking about.
Okay.
So are you going to do an experiment or?
That's what I was like wondering.
So what is your main like theoretical argument right now?
That like media induced or nostalgia that creates like eudaimonia experiences through relatedness.
Oh, through relatedness?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I wanted to like focus on, but then like I was thinking like since there's also like there's like media induced nostalgia, but then there's also like mediated nostalgia, so like relating to a character in a similar scenario. So like would it be too much if I did both like media induced nostalgia and mediated nostalgia?
Because media induced, how do you define media induced nostalgia?
So like basically like how I understand it was like if I watch a movie with like my parents, like when I was younger,
okay.
yeah, and I rewatch it, it's similar scene or like the same movie going.
Oh, okay, so it's more like media induced nostalgia, like watching it with somebody else.
Yeah, watching it like in the future. So like if I were to rewatch a movie I watched in the past.
谢谢。
老师签这边的这边。
好好好，谢谢。你是做功课下来啊？
对。
你在严总哦？
对。
哦，对不起。
是他没来。
你们在严总哦？
对。
啊，神经病哦！啊，对不起，这是员工编号。想不起来，印象。不好意思，还让你坐公车下来。我明明以为在众院，然后想说为什么要坐公车，然后还想说真不好意思。
不会不会，用这样就可以了。
谢谢谢谢，感谢，不好意思，谢谢，拜拜。So does it have to be like watched through somebody else?
It does have to be like watching with someone else, like.
Because the media induced sounds to be is induced by some media, right? But is it a term from the paper or?
Yeah, that's like what I.
Maybe you should look for the definition because for me, media-induced nostalgia sounds just like mediated nostalgia.
Exactly.
Because you said mediated nostalgia is for some character, but media-induced nostalgia, because I'm not familiar,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it's induced by some media, but through the media, it should be a character. So there's a storyline, so you can get induced. You can get, the nostalgia was stimulated by that. So I'm not sure about the definition of the differentiation between these two. So that's why I cannot answer whether you do two or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you might want to give me the definition.
Definition, yeah, exactly.
And I can look at that for you.
Okay. And then as far as like collecting data goes, like if I do you think it's too late to like start like do an experiment for this? Like,
if you want to graduate and